So if I'm rotating with the club, I can never actually speed up that club head. If you're a new golfer, I think there's one thing that you should be practicing religiously for every swing, every shot. I think it's great for people to really work on hitting a certain finish position. I know many people say that, oh, the finish doesn't really matter, right? You've already hit the ball. Why does the finishing position, why should we worry about it? Which has some truth to it. But in my opinion, if you're working on hitting a certain finish position, it'll help influence a lot of good things before we actually get to that finish position. I think an important term that people need to understand is runoff. After we hit a golf ball, as we get into the finish position, we don't want to experience too much runoff with the arms or runoff in rotation. In my opinion, in order to accelerate the club head, there has to be a semi-abrupt stopping so that the club can rehinge in the wrists and help us throw some energy out of the hands. So I teach a lot of new beginners, and the first thing I see in their finish is this huge over-rotation, trail foot spinning over, arms kind of wrapping around their body too far around, and actually hurts your balance throughout the golf swing. So what I like to see in a finish is something that's semi-under rotated. If you notice, my heel hasn't fully gone over around, right? And the reason why that's important is because our trail leg acts as a brace or a braking mechanism so that we can accelerate the club head. So for example, if we look at a bowler, you wouldn't see their trail leg kind of spin over with the release of the ball. The trail leg will kind of slide back behind that lead leg so that we can speed up the object. So we kind of want a similar look or feel, and we'll call this the bowler finish, okay? So post-impact, you'll notice my shoulders and my spine have maintained the inclination in relation to the ground as we had in the setup position. The shaft of the club, this is pretty important as well. We want it matching and parallel to the spine, right? You'll notice my head, my right ear is lower than my left ear, right? And we're kind of in this position, right? Now, I think that's important because it's actually training the important muscles in the lower body, your feet, your ankles, your legs. It's teaching you how to stop or slow down the rotation so that the club can pass us and release into the finish. So if I'm rotating with the club, I can never actually speed up that club head. The stopping of my rotation is what lets this club zoom past me. So you don't even have to take swings, right? Stand in front of the mirror, grab a club, right? We'll kind of start from this setup position. And you'll notice my shoulders and my clavicles are pressed down, right? Making my neck look longer. My head's on a bit of a tilt, so are my shoulders. And then from here, I feel like I'm way over my lead angle, okay? So the movement into my lead side is what helps the spine tilt and maintain its inclination to the ground, okay? We want to see a fold of the arms with some width away from me and a rehinge of the wrists, okay? So shoulders pressed down away from my neck, away from my head, right? Neck feeling long. Arms fold, wrists have rehinged. Shaft is matching my spine, and I'm not over rotated. I haven't ran off into the finish. Now, once I get really good at this, I can start to add some swing in the back, right? We can start off with a couple maybe chip shots or pitch shots. We're gonna go kind of lead arm parallel to the ground with a little bit of hinge. We can practice moving into our lead side. and hitting that finish position, right? So if we did that from face on, okay, a little bit of hinge in the wrist, lead arm parallel to the ground. Moving into my lead leg, letting the arms fold, wrist rehinging, right? You'll notice my head is behind my pelvis. This is important because we need to throw some extension into the hips, right? If we finish with our head, I know a lot of players do this, with the head ahead of our pelvis, we haven't maintained the angles or the plane of the golf swing, right? So throwing some extension into the hips kicks our head back, right? I like to explain this to my juniors as a Superman finish, right? You wouldn't see Superman like stand like this. He'd be, chest up, neck long, right? So that Superman finish, kind of shaft matching the spine, head tilted, under rotated, right? So the stopping of the rotation can accelerate the club past me. So if you learn how to do this, I know in the beginning it's going to feel incredibly tight and uncomfortable, like you're contorting yourself. But if you can get really good at that and then start to add some motion on the way back, you'll hit these really great impact positions because the intent is there. It's hard to think about pieces during a golf swing, but if you master that finish position, everything else post-impact or before impact should happen on its own. It should be a lot more intuitive instead of forced into places. So if you're just starting out your golf journey, this is a really, really good drill to get started. Get into that good finish position and then start to add little bits and pieces on the way back. And I think it'll make learning the golf swing a lot easier.